Hey everyone, today I thought I'd mix things up with another fun and interesting video since there's not much happening in the MMA scene right now, and today I decided to talk about the most annoying MMA fighters in the UFC, and this can either do with their personality or just their fighting style or both. But these are the fighters that I find particularly irritating, and I'll explain why in a bit. Now remember, this is just my opinion, so if you don't like any of my choices on this, feel free to comment below and have a disagreement or give your thoughts. Now, just to be clear, this isn't a tier list or a top 10 list. I'm just throwing out some of these fighters, like in no particular order. So let's get to it. So we might as well start with the one that you see in the thumbnail. Obviously, I'm referring to Israel Adesanya. I really do not like this dude. I mean, for starters, I ain't gonna lie, he's a really weird guy, you know what I mean? For starters, he touches his dog and he says very cringy stuff with his trash talk. Like the dude threatens to do a TikTok dance after he knocks you out. And the fact that he's been saying weird stuff like botch. But it's pretty cringe. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but at one point of Izzy's career, he called out Jared Cannonier. And he said this, and I quote, "If Jared Cannonier can get it done, Robert Whittaker, I want him next. It would be an honor. We'll do it like Naruto and Sasuke. He knows." That's the kind of quote where I would just want to slap the shit out of you and shove you in a locker. And I'm telling you guys right now, Izzy was definitely that kid in school that was running like Naruto, I swear. Like, sometimes I'm kind of surprised that this dude actually has fans, because the dude is kind of unlikable in my opinion. Like, sometimes I'm kind of surprised that this dude has fans because the dude is kind of unlikable in my opinion. And alright, to be fair, his style is very nice to watch, I would say, but in the same time, it's pretty boring. And one thing that would always annoy me is that he would always be like, "I'm gonna knock this guy out, trust!" And it ended up being like a 5-round snooze fest. Majority of his fights are snooze fest. I'm aware that Izzy has some bangers. They're very technical, and I will give Izzy this. He's a talented fighter, but in the same time, he's a very boring fighter. And like, don't get me wrong, he had some really good fights like I mentioned earlier, but still, man, I can't stand the guy, and he usually has boring fights. Great fighter though. Next up we have is Anthony Smith, who's also on the thumbnail, and to be honest, I don't like this guy. I even made a viral YouTube short about it. But man, I gotta say, he's kinda growing on me. I don't hate him as much as I used to. Don't get me wrong, he's still delusional. Smith is that guy who will say if you take away the fact that he's not that good, he's really not that good. Even with that delusional attitude, it kinda grew on me. I find him very entertaining, and I just don't take him as seriously anymore. He's just sometimes annoying like a fly that keeps bumping onto you. But despite all that, I do feel bad for the guy now. He gets beat up pretty often, like the old guy from SpongeBob who keeps getting beat up by the crowd. You know, the one blue fish that's like, "How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?" That's Smith. The dude is like 2 to 4 in his last 6 fight. So yeah, I still don't like the guy, but I do feel a bit sorry for him. Moving on, we have Jamal Hill. He's arguably the saltiest guy in the UFC, and it's easy to see why so many people can't stand him. The guy just cannot let things go. For instance, he got knocked out by Alex about like what, 3 months ago, and he's still talking about it. He keeps saying things will be different next time, but buddy, you ain't getting another title shot anytime soon. He can't just seem to accept what happened to him, to the point he's arguing with fans, which is insane. And if you ask me, it's pretty extremely sad to see. The dude has been arguing with his fans for months. Just look at these tweets, and this tweet takes place before the fight with Alex. A fan says, "We need you to humble Alex Pereira, champ." Jamal Hill replies, "Humble my nuts, bro. I'm humble to those that humble themselves. Point in fact, who are you to tell me to be humble? What experience do you have with what I do daily?" The fan replies, "Relax, bro. I'm simply saying that we're rooting for you to become champ again." Jamal Hill responds, "Tell me to be humble out of the blue is not support. If you support me, do that. But don't tell me how to be me." The fan then says, "But I never told you to be humble. Read it again. I said I want you to make Pereira humble." Finally, Jamal Hill replies and says, "Gang, I just sent you an apology, fam." And look, man, all I gotta say is, Jamal, do the whole world a favor, man. Please take a break from the internet. Nobody cares. Take a vacation, man. Save your sanity, because we're tired of the excuses, man. I would really like it if you took a break on your phone for the entire week, and I honestly think it would help tremendously, man. I swear. And if you think we have it bad, just imagine what his girlfriend has to deal with, man. Anyways, the next fighter we have on the list is none other than Sean Strickland. Here's the thing. I like Sean. He can be entertaining on the mic, and can be a bit controversial, but he does annoy me sometimes, not as much as the other fighters on the list. However, he does bother me when he's on social media complaining about the world, threatening to kill other fighters, and making fun of other fighters who got hit and killed by a bus. He uses trauma as a shield, while others have experienced worse and bully others. That's why I find it funny that Sean thinks he can get away with bullying everyone and saying what he wants, but he can't take it directly. For example, when Sean Strickland was making a bunch of gay jokes about Dricus kissing his coach, don't get me wrong, it was weird, but Sean should have expected something in return. I'm referring to what Dricus said about Sean's childhood, which made Sean very emotional. And that's my point. Sean annoys me because he can't handle it when the tables are turned. Not to mention when he fights, he's like, we're about to go to freaking war. And then he goes on a 5-round snooze fest. And look, man, I still like Sean. I think there's a lot of things in Sean Strickland that make him fun to watch, but the guy isn't a good person. I mean, the dude beat up Sneeko. He beats up his sparring partners. Look, Sean is an interesting guy at best, but I'll just leave it on that. Up next, we got Ian Garry. Oh boy, Ian Garry. I can't stand this guy. Where do I begin? He's incredibly annoying. His wife seems to control him, and she's using him while her ex is his nutrition coach. Plus, he's kind of a jerk. The dude made false accusations saying that Neil Magny hits his kids and mocked Jeff Neal by wearing a mugshot of Jeff Neal. But if anyone dares to joke about him being controlled and used by his wife, he'll lose it. It's just crazy. Not to mention his fighting style is super boring to watch, man. His last 3 fights have been complete snooze fest, man. And I can't wait for this man eventually to get folded by someone. Because if anyone needs to get humble, it's this guy. But he keeps winning, which is crazy. And I gotta respect that. But still, man, I just don't like this dude. Ian Garry marrying a 40-year-old woman, got kicked out of 2 to 3 gyms. I mean, there's a reason why the fan base and a lot of people don't like him. Now, another fighter I don't really like is Leon Edwards. Sure, Leon is talented and very well-rounded, but at one point he consistently whined about being ignored and not getting his title shot. And now, since he's the champion and he's got everything, now he even says that he doesn't respect Belal's struggles. Even as a champion, he manages to become more unlikable. He only defended the belt twice, and he's not very active. When he puts fights, it's boring. There's no other way to put it. Let's not forget, he wants to jump to a different weight class, specifically the middleweight division, to capture another belt, and he even has the audacity to say that there's no one in the division who deserves a title shot, which isn't necessarily true. You've gotten Shavkat, JDM, and Ian Garry, to name a few, and this has created a logjam in the division, which is really frustrating. That's why I kind of hope he loses to Belal, but unfortunately, I don't see that happening. And the last fighter we have on this list is none other than Jon Jones. Jones is kind of a piece of crap. If you look at his entire career, he's cheated multiple times with steroids, consistently eye-poked his opponents on purpose, has drinking problems, cheated on his wife. Obviously, the dude has a lot of demons, and look, I'm aware of that. But the part that really annoys me is the icing on top of the cake, and I'm obviously referring that how he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. Even though Tom is the interim champion, which is insane, instead he wants to fight an old Stipe because legacy. And look, I understand that Jones doesn't want to fight because Tom apparently doesn't do anything for Jones' legacy. Okay then vacate the belt. You don't need the belt, Jones. You're arguably bigger than the belt. So let this division breathe and have some life into it. Jones is a douche and I can't stand him, but of course people would idolize him, saying that he's the GOAT. And listen to me, you can't beat the GOAT if you were caught cheating with steroids, man. How come TJ gets so much crap for popping, but Jones doesn't receive the same type of treatment? Still to this day, it still boggles my mind, but whatever, screw it, that's pretty much my point. And those are the fighters I cannot stand in the UFC right now. And like I said, if you like these fighters and you think it's all bullcrap, what I personally think, it's cool. It's just my opinion. Feel free to criticize everything I say, and maybe we can have a little debate or something, or maybe I just won't reply to you. But in general, this was entirely fun to make, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.